Last week, after I did the live stream, ironically, on Friday of last week, Republican Senator Joni Ernst, she was doing a town hall meeting. A lot of Republicans have avoided these, but she decided to do one in Iowa. And she was trying to defend the bill that House Republicans passed that would blow up the deficit and take over 10 million people off of Medicaid, which is the health insurance for people who can't necessarily afford it. And it would take them off those rolls. It would impose these work requirements that a lot of people can't do. It's just a horrible bill. It gives a lot of money to the wealthy. It's exactly what you expect from Republicans. So in that town hall, someone yells out from the crowd that people will die because of this bill, which is literally true. That is how this is going to work. You take away their health care, yeah, more people are going to die. And Joni Ernst is going to get a chance to vote on this bill because it's now going through the Senate. So they were saying this because they don't want her to vote for it. And Joni Ernst responds with the soundbite that should haunt her for the rest of her career. She said, and I'm quoting here, "People are not, well, we all are going to die." Like, that's what she said. And it's true. Yeah, we're all going to die. The difference is that decent Democrats want to make your life worth living and make sure you have access to free or affordable health care. Joni Ernst and the other Republicans want to make your death happen more quickly because they think you deserve it. If you don't work, if you're disabled, if you're a person of color disproportionately impacted by this stuff, or if you have some pre-existing condition, Republicans think you deserve to die sooner. And if you can't afford health care, that's on you. That's your fault. Go ahead and die. So this is exactly what Republicans have been thinking for decades. And the tone of her voice, though, if you listen to that footage, I mean, it says even more than that. It says she doesn't give a damn about her own constituents who might die sooner than they might otherwise because she personally helped kick them off Medicaid, leaving them without any sort of social safety net. Like, the implication was, yeah, sure, people will die, but also, isn't that worth it if we can help rich people become even richer? So the reason you may have heard of that comment that she made is because it actually made national news. You know, the cable channels were talking about it. In fact, the Des Moines Register, this was their headline the next day. There's Joni Ernst right there. Well, we all are going to die. Like, they're putting that in all caps on their front page with a big picture of Joni Ernst. So, like, it was getting coverage. It was getting a lot of coverage, and none of it made her look good because there's no way to spin what she said to make it sound better, right? One of her potential Democratic opponents, because she's up for re-election in 2026, one of her potential opponents said, "We all don't have to die so billionaires can have a bigger tax break." Another one said, "Yeah, we're all going to die, but our senators should not be the ones killing us." J.D. Scholten, who is a Democrat, who may be one of the few Democrats who could actually win in Iowa, in theory, he's decided to formally announce he was challenging Joni Ernst in next year's race after he heard those comments. Now, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I'm sure he was planning this for a while, but he decided to announce his jump into the race after she made those comments. So it turns out death panels, to quote a Republican thing, death panels are real and Republicans want to run them. So this is what Joni Ernst said. But the reason I wanted to play this for you, the next thing, is because Joni Ernst, I think, realized she made a big mistake. She should not have said that. It came off bad. So she wanted to, I'll say, apologize. She wanted to respond to what all the criticism was. I'm going to play for you the video she posted on Instagram. There were two parts to it, so there's a weird cut in the middle, but it's the same clip. I want you to know she appeared to have filmed this in a cemetery. I don't know why. I don't know who decided that would be a good move, especially when we're talking about death, but she filmed it in a cemetery. And she tried to explain herself. And I'll just go ahead and say this. It didn't work. It was a bad idea. But stick around. I'll play the video for you. Watch what she says at the very end as well.
Hello, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Great. Thanks for that, I guess. I know some of you in the comments saw this too. It really, that condescending Christian fundy baby voice that Jess Piper sometimes talks about, it's so condescending. So just to run through some of this stuff, she did not address the substance of the complaint, the fact that Republicans are going to kick over 10 million people off of Medicaid. She suggested her audience is too stupid to understand how mortality works. Like, I'm sorry, I thought you guys understood how death works. Glad I didn't have to explain the tooth fairy to you. Otherwise, you'd be doubly disappointed. Like, just utter contempt for her constituents. And then at the very end of it, she makes this pitch for you to follow Jesus, like she's a podcaster trying to get you to try stamps.com. Like, first of all, why isn't she following Jesus? Because the dude from the Sermon on the Mount told us to help the least of these and the least fortunate. She's like, no, it's not about me. I need you to follow Jesus because I don't know, I'm going to take away your health care. So prayer's all you're going to have left. So screw you. I don't know. It is funny to me that she mocked one mythical being, the tooth fairy, and then in the next sentence told everyone to believe in a different one. That's hilarious. But again, she doesn't care because for conservatives like her, they always call themselves pro-life. That only applies to anything that's in a womb because as soon as you're born, they do not care about you. I know George Carlin said it. Others have too. But the point is these people do not care if you live or die. And they don't care if you live if you're living in a way they don't approve of, right? And it's very easy to tell people to worship God when Republicans like her know damn well that if her health is ever on the line, she's going to get taxpayer-funded health care, and it's going to be really good. The rest of us do not have access to that sort of health care, right? And also, this also tells you why she doesn't care about gun safety either. She doesn't do a damn thing about gun violence, and now we see why. Because if we're all going to die, why bother doing anything to prevent unnecessary, needless deaths? Honestly, at this point, I'm kind of surprised more Christians are not embarrassed by how their religion can be so easily co-opted by Republicans to avoid taking any responsibility for their actions. And I know there are plenty of Christians who oppose it, but again, the majority of Christians, regardless of denomination, backed Trump in 2024. White evangelicals, 80% of them in the past 3 elections have voted for Trump. And Joni Ernst, by the way, has been mired in all sorts of scandals of her own, which I would argue are not very Christ-like. You can look up Joni Ernst scandal, see what pops up. I think the big takeaway here is that what she said is not an anomaly. She didn't make a gaffe. She didn't accidentally say this stuff. She purposely said it. She made a video of herself saying it. She posted that video, and she felt no shame in doing so, because this is what Republicans like her actually believe. Like, she's not even considered a right-wing extremist, but her views are extreme. They're just like mainstream for the Republican Party now. Just FYI, again, I mentioned this earlier, but she is up for re-election next year. And even if she decides not to run, that just means an even worse Republican will win the primary. So if this is what Iowa voters want, so be it. They might as well start digging their own graves. If they need help doing that, I'm sure Joni Ernst can point you to a nearby cemetery where you could do it yourself. Just utterly infuriating. I'll stop there for this one. What other questions we got here? It's hard to overstate how abusive her attitude is. Seriously. I mean, again, if a pastor said something like that, I might roll my eyes. Her one job is to take care of her constituents. That's why you go into public service. If you're not interested in doing that, don't go for the job. I do not understand politicians who are like, oh, these people want me to take care of them. Why? Like, go do anything else. You don't have to do this. You volunteered for this job. The Republicans are trying to out-cruel each other to get attention. They are so sick. I mean, story of the past 25 years, at least in the Republican Party. I mean, with Reagan too. But like, yeah, this is their whole history. If you're voting for Republicans, it's because you hate certain groups of people so much and you hope Republicans in power will hurt them instead of you. And the irony of the Trump administrations, both of them, is that a lot of the stuff Trump does hurts his own voters. They all vote for him because they're like, yeah, we don't like brown people. We don't like poor people. And then Trump turns around and he's like, I'm going to hurt the farmers and I'm going to hurt people who are here overseas. I'm going to hurt immigrant communities that voted for me too. And again, when are these people going to realize, no, you voted for the leopards eating people's faces party and now you're screwed? Audience member, how about constituent? Did I say that? I can't remember. She said audience member. But yeah, I mean, it's a crowd of constituents. They're asking and they're protesting because they need her. She's their voice in Congress. They need her to do the stuff for them because they're not allowed to do it themselves. And if she doesn't care about it, it's like, why are you here? She's really talking to constituents like they're three, and she will probably be reelected. I mean, yeah, she won comfortably last time. I wouldn't be surprised if this sort of gaffe, which would have been a career ender at some point in history, I mean, this is just forgotten about in a week or so because, I don't know, there'll be another scandal. This is another way. It's just frustrating because it doesn't matter what the scandal is. Republicans can just ignore them because their own voters don't care about hypocrisy or cruelty or stupidity. Those are all features, not the bug, right? If you're voting for a Republican.